a philosopher so disillusioned with life that he believed the greatest mistake in history was being born, and, unlike most philosophers, he didn't try to solve the problem of existence. He tried to explain why it shouldn't exist. Meet Romanian philosopher Emil Cioran. Cioran was born in Reșina, Hungary, today Romania. His father was an Orthodox priest, and his mother was the head of the Christian Women's League. Essentially, Cioran was born into faith, but he spent his entire life trying to escape it. At 17, he studied literature and philosophy at the University of Bucharest under Nietzsche Ionescu. Cioran learned German at a young age, allowing him to read philosophy unavailable in Romanian. During his childhood, he studied Friedrich Nietzsche, Arthur Schopenhauer, and Fyodor Dostoevsky. He became an agnostic, developing a deeply pessimistic view of existence. In 1933, Cioran received a scholarship to the University of Berlin. Here, he became interested in the policies of the Nazi regime, saying, "There is no present-day politician that I see as more sympathetic and admirable than Hitler." Cioran also supported the Iron Guard until the early years of World War II. He would later denounce this period, saying in 1970, "The worst folly of my youth. If I am cured of one sickness, it is surely that one." At 20, Cioran developed severe insomnia. His first book, On the Heights of Despair, published in 1934, was heavily influenced by episodes. In the book, Cioran wrote about his nihilistic thinking that would plague the rest of his life. He also suggested that animals and simple people live more naturally because they are fully immersed in the present. However, On the Heights of Despair is more raw despair than a formulated text. Cioran would later say the book was a dizzying lucidity which would turn even paradise into hell. Cioran moved back to Bucharest for a short period of time before leaving for Paris, where he abandoned his earlier systematic and emotional style. His writing became increasingly fragmented, reduced to short aphorisms rather than his previous sustained arguments. Over time, his pessimism also became more radical, shifting from personal despair to a more general claim about existence itself. In 1973, he published The Trouble with Being Born. The book's core idea is not that life treats us badly, but that the real problem is that we're even here at all. Cioran sees birth as a forced entry into suffering and consciousness. He defines consciousness as being aware of evil, time, and death. Therefore, he concludes that existence isn't positive or neutral, but inherently burdensome. He also discusses suicide, but not as a solution, saying, "It is not worth the bother of killing yourself, since you always kill yourself too late." For Cioran, suicide isn't an escape, it ends life, but not the very fact of having been in the first place, which is what bothers him most. Unlike many philosophers, Cioran never tried to build a system or offer solutions. Instead, he reduced philosophy to its most uncomfortable core: consciousness without comfort, awareness without escape, and existence without reversal. For him, philosophy was never about answers, but confrontation. In the end, he leaves us with no resolution, only a stark awareness of what it means to be conscious at all, and the unease that comes with existing without having chosen to begin.